Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of February 9th through 15th. You guys know what to do. Please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies and influences of the week. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Comments down below, always appreciated. Just be kind is my only request. And same 3 decks that I've been using in the last few readings, shuffled and in the order that I feel is intuitively aligned. All right, I think that's everything, guys. Let's see what we got going on. And just so we know, just beforehand, we do have, I don't know if this is just an American holiday, but we do have, well, it's not an official holiday, but Valentine's Day is in this reading. So I wonder if we're going to get like a lot of, well, very curious to see what comes up in romantic connection. But wondering if something comes up around there, as well as we have a big astrological transit happening, which is Saturn moving into Aries on either Friday or Saturday, I think. So a lot going on the weekend. So let's see what kind of comes up here. I'm not an astrologist, but you know, wherever Aries falls on your chart, it could be different for everybody how this transit affects them. But it should be more momentum in general because of Aries, but we'll see. Like I said, I wonder if there's some love stuff coming up. I'm wondering if there is, you know, love, romance, or any kind of like momentum or ambition or something that kind of comes through in this reading. So let's see. Let's begin. Let's see what's going on. Okay. What do we need? Peace. All right. So very interesting card to start out with. Usually this energy is not necessarily telling for the rest of the reading, but comes out pretty strong. Also because it's kind of like what we're needing this week. So we need peace. So any way that you can find peace, any way that you can find comfort, if you're out of sorts, either like emotionally or physically, maybe you're like between jobs or, you know, between homes or something, and things are a little chaotic for you, you need peace. So find peace any way that you can. If this means taking a day off of work, this means taking a day off of work. This means meditating every day, meditate every day. It's going to look differently for everybody, but we really need to find peace. So not too much more I could say there. Action needed. What do we need to take action on? Butterfly, regeneration. Okay, I like this. You guys know I always like this word. Okay, so basically it's saying regeneration is always about building something back the same or even better. Okay, so we're regenerating something. So it says action needed, saying, all right, here's what maybe this would count as momentum, but it's telling us to build something. It's telling us to continue working at what we want back, or what we want better. Okay, and so what usually comes to mind is, and I've used this example before, your house burns down, God forbid. But if it does, you know, you build, it's going to take some time to build a house back to what it was or better, right? But this is basically saying, like, take action on building the house. Maybe you need to actually start doing this. You need to start rebuilding your life in some way, shape, or form. And so take the first steps, take the second steps, take the third step. You don't have to complete it. This is not about completing it. This is about, you need to take at least the first, second, third steps to really get this into place. So maybe you need to be talking to contractors. Maybe you need to be thinking about and writing down and collecting all the materials of how you want your house to look, and how you want to do this, or get your finances in order or something like that. Okay, so this is basically saying, like, you got to kind of like get your like almost like kind of like getting your ducks in a row. Is what I'm trying to say. And getting ready for that rebuilding and actually taking action on that. So I like that. Okay, that maybe that has something to do with Saturn and Aries. I don't know, but I like that. I really, really do. What's the issue though? What issues are we having this week? Let's get this over with in the first row here. What kind of issues? Beggar in the shadow. We've been getting this one a lot. Okay, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. Okay, so there's some issues of like dependency. Again, it's just because something is in the shadow doesn't mean it's bad, okay? There's a light and a shadow to everything. It's not a good and a bad situation. Sometimes it's a little bit more positive to negative. Sometimes it's a little more higher self to ego, but it's not bad, okay? You know, I try to stay away from that word. So dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. So this means that we are depending on, there's like a dependence here. It's under issue. So we, again, might be having an issue with the dependence where we feel like we want to be more interdependent. Like we're almost there, but we're still kind of dependent on something. An example for me is, I'm still able, in the last 4 years, I'm dealing with a health issue, 4+ years. I've been able to live on my own, do things on my own, but it's really hard, mostly because I'm stubborn, mostly because I'm hyper independent, but I'm not as, I can't travel by myself. I can't, there's certain things that I am kind of quote unquote disabled to do. And for that, I have to rely on other sources, right? On other things. Sometimes I have a hard time reading still, right? And so I copy and paste and put it into AI to summarize it for me. Okay, those are some things that I have to do, that I have to work around because of what I'm dealing with, right? So I'm dependent on AI. I am dependent on, traveling with somebody. I am, I'm not as interdependent or independent as I want to be. And this could definitely fit there, right? It's basically saying like you have to depend, like maybe you're in college and your parents are giving you money because you're in college and you're going full time and you're trying to graduate, and maybe you have a child as well or something, and so you really need your parents to help you out financially. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of what's going on, but I definitely do feel like it's maybe bothering us. We really, really want to move past this, but guys, we're still in that place. It's okay. It's okay. I know it's bothering us, obviously, as it's coming up in the issue, but we're going to move past it. I know we are. Nothing lasts forever, right? Everything is temporary. It feels like it's been a long time for some of us, for most of us, I would say, but it's okay to have a little dependence on somebody, but don't beat yourself up so much. Somebody or something, maybe an organization, maybe you're on food stamps, for example. Who knows what reason you're on it? Sometimes this is what people don't understand. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Okay. So, all right. So, that's why we don't judge. Okay. And we don't see it as a bad thing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes you need a little help. Sometimes you can't be your hyper independent self. Okay. So it's all right. It's okay. So that's what it's saying here. It's obviously bothering us, so I gave you my little speech about it being okay. So hopefully you guys will, take that to heart. Challenge. Okay, building blocks. Okay. So I did mention the word build when I saw the regeneration here. So it says challenge building blocks. This, to me, how it's kind of different from regeneration is, I was very clear here with this because it felt this way. You just have to take the first few steps. You don't have to go full speed. Okay, you don't have to be on steps 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or nearing the end. That's not what this is about. That's not what this energy is about. So if you try to go full speed ahead and, completely go for it, you're going to have challenges, okay, because it's under challenge spot. Okay, so we are trying to build, but we're having challenges doing that. That's the basic energy that's kind of coming through. So if you're trying to start your own business, this is basically saying like, maybe it's not an all or nothing thing, like maybe you have to take the first steps. Maybe you lost a business years ago and you're afraid to go back into business. This is saying, do the first steps. Don't quit your job, just out of nowhere and, say, oh, I'm in this, 100%. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that the energies are conflicting here. And again, always use your own intuition, but this is maybe saying like, maybe do the slow thing, okay? Do the, regeneration slowly, right? Building things slowly. So if you try to go from step 1 to step 5 to step 10 to step 15 all this week and try to speed things up, it's not going to work out for you. And I feel like a lot of us need to hear that. So please go slow. I know you see the bigger picture. I know you're eager, but you got to go slow. You're going to come up with lots of challenges if you try to go fast and skip all these steps, or again, go at lightning speed. So slow down, guys. 1 or 2 or 3 steps, I would say. Even that's pushing it. All right, what's changing though? Listening. Okay, so that's an interesting one to get for a change, but basically it's saying like our listening skills are changing. I mean, I think that's a good thing. Maybe we feel like we're heard more. Maybe we have been working on a relationship where we feel like the other person is not hearing what we're saying. And now we do, and now we can kind of like see that. Or maybe you've been misunderstanding somebody and now you're kind of getting on the same page as somebody. and you're now understanding them a little bit more. So yeah, it could go both ways for sure, but I would say like a general consensus for this would be more listening, less talking, so, shut your mouth, open your ears kind of situation to be more blunt. But yeah, I like this. Either way, it points to a relationship with someone or an organization or some, a group of people becoming better because, we're listening more, we're hearing somebody more, hearing where they're coming from, for example. So maybe we're in a fight with somebody and now we can kind of like really be in a place where we can empathize and understand where this person is coming from, like that kind of thing. So I like that. So something is changing there. So there's something with the relationships for this week. So yeah, I just see this as a really positive thing. All right, we need to focus on healer in the shadow. Take advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. Okay, so basically it's the healer reverse is basically saying we're not taking care of ourselves. Pretty straightforward there. And it's saying we need to focus better on that. So where we're not taking care of ourselves, we need to look at that. Okay, so maybe we've been focusing on one particular area in our lives and we're neglecting is a good way to say this, a specific area. So maybe you've been like really like at the gym working on your physical health, working on your body, but you're not working on your mental health, for example, or your emotional health or your spiritual health or something. So it just feels like something is being neglected here, and we really need to focus on whatever's being neglected. Yeah, not too much more I can say there. What do we need to reflect on? Thinker. Okay. So this is interesting coming under the reflect because this means that we need to kind of reflect on our thinking patterns, the way that we think about things. Are we thinking about things rationally? Are we thinking about things logically? Are we, is our mind playing tricks on us? Are we being biased in some way? Are we seeing things for what they actually are? Are we thinking about things before acting on them? Okay, those are a bunch of things that we can, I just gave you about like 5 journal prompts, okay? Think about basically it's asking us to reflect and think about the way that we think, okay? So there might be some faulty thinking. This might be mindset work too. This would not be a bad week to start mindset work. I'm not a huge, you guys know I am more on the spiritual, emotional, honestly, the last 4 years, physical side of things. The mindset thing, I feel like is, you guys know I'm biased, but speaking of biased thinking, everything is really, equal, but the way that I tend to be as like a human being, as a soul, I kind of neglect that a little bit, only because I feel like when we fix the spiritual, the mindset can come with it. And I kind of see it as like a spiritual thing. I know a lot of people that really change, work on their mindset and their emotional health really, their emotional intelligence really needs some work. I've met a lot of people like that. But yeah, so this is actually asking us to think about like our mindset work and think about like what our mind is trying to tell us, how we think about things, whether we're thinking positively or negatively. By the way, if we're thinking too positively all the time, we could be like spiritually bypassing ourselves, or what we would call toxic positivity. And then being negative and pessimistic all the time, that's also not good, right? So we have to kind of like find a balance here. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out of there. It's going to be different for everybody. This is a reading for the collective, but take what resonates, leave the rest. But yeah, there's something about the way that we process information, the way that we think about the world, our mindset, all of that stuff. Responsibilities. Tobacco. Oh, there's the word that I hate. Reciprocity. There we go. I'm having a good brain day today. That's why. So basically it's reciprocal energy, right? So what we put out, we need to get back. So it says responsibilities. Do not overdo for people. Do not, overperform for people. Do not go out of your way for people. Only those that maybe, will reciprocate back. Don't overdo it. Yeah, it's your responsibilities. I used to, growing up, I used to wait tables. And they always used to have like a motto, yeah, I guess it's a motto, but they would always say like go above and beyond for the customer. This is like the exact opposite energy, right? This is saying do not go above and beyond. Do whatever your responsibilities are, and that's it, right? And also this is saying like it's okay to go above and beyond for those that will go above and beyond for you. Okay, so it goes that way as well, but mostly the former. All right, money, finances, and career. We have trickster in the shadow, manipulating others through duplicity. Okay, so this is about being sneaky. This is, I don't love this under money, finances, and career. Being sneaky or being manipulative or joking at the wrong times could also be the trickster. So it's under money, finances, and career. So maybe we've got an office jester, a jokester or whatever, who thinks everything is funny, who doesn't take work seriously. I think we've all worked with this kind of person before. If you work on your own, be blessed. Know that you're blessed, because working with a team could be just really, really hard. This could also be like, what's coming to my mind is like class clown, because money, finances, and career could also be school. I don't think I say that enough, but just know that it could also be that. Like if you're, if that's all you do is like full-time school, this could obviously be it, because it affects your money, right? You're investing in your education so you can get a job and make money. So I feel like it could also be there. So the way that class clown is kind of like popping into my head, it's like, yeah, if you're at school and you have like somebody that disrupts the class, or is like the class clown, it might be super annoying to you, or they might be extra disruptive this week, or just annoy the hell out of you extra annoying. But yeah, but it could be somebody at work. Could also be like if you're a solo entrepreneur and you have clients, it could be like you're taking on a client that wants to manipulate you. Or it could be that you're taking on a business partner. Maybe you're doing coaching or something and you take on like a business manager and their energy is off because they're always joking all the time, or that you feel like they might have like a underlying intention that maybe isn't the greatest. So because trickster is also like, I know it's not the magician, but it's kind of similar to that. I don't know if I don't think there's an archetype card called magician. So I think it really is, they're interchangeable. So yeah, it's kind of like, don't be fooled by this person, just, question people's motives this week, question people's intentions. If you're thinking of like, again, meeting with somebody to bring onto your business or a client of some kind, just be extra careful this week, I would say. It doesn't feel super major. Like, I don't think it's like you're going to bring on somebody that's an accountant and they're going to steal all your money or something like that, like something extremely detrimental. But Spirit is definitely saying, like, watch who you have around your money, around your work, your business, your finances, your schoolwork, all of those things. Just watch those people. Especially like if this week, if you're thinking about like hiring like a financial advisor or something like that, if you can, or talk to somebody about like investing or something like that, push it to next week if you can. Okay, these readings are not supposed to be like warnings. You're not supposed to live your life based on these readings. These are just the energies that kind of come through. Use your intuition always. You are the expert in your life. You are the North Star. You know what's right for you or whatnot. But I will say, just be careful of any of that. Okay, so that's my job, is to read the energies. Your job is to listen to your own intuition, see what resonates from this reading, and then apply it if possible. There's not too much more I could say here. But yeah, just be careful with that. I don't love it. Like I said, I don't love the shadow trickster in this position here. So yeah, just keep everything I said in mind, basically. All right, surprise, co-create. Okay, so surprise co-creation. So this could mean a couple things. This could mean that you're surprised at a partnership. So, I mean, it could actually accompany what I just said, like you're surprised in a negative way, you know, with somebody that maybe tricked you in a negative way. But it definitely does feel like it could be more positive. So maybe a partnership can be coming in that surprises you in a positive way. Like you never thought that your company would partner with and you know, maybe your direct competition or something like that, but you end up doing that this week. You know, I'm just throwing things out there as analogies. You could have a surprise working together with someone that is known to be difficult to work for and work with. That could be it. So definitely, yeah, it can be work related for sure. Partnership also could be in a relationship. So you're working well with a relationship with somebody. I'll be completely honest with you, it doesn't necessarily feel romantic. But maybe you're working together, like, again, at work with somebody that you don't necessarily always get along with or thought that you would get along with. But the other meaning here could be co-creating with the universe. So you could see a manifestation come through. So we like that one, right? So something you've been manifesting for a long time could come through for you this week as a surprise. And so that's a nice surprise, isn't it? So I like that. But like I said, it could be linked to something negative coming off of that trickster card in the shadow, but it feels more positive. So it's probably going to be more positive news for people out there. All right, friends, we have rice nourishment. Okay, so definitely friends nourish your soul. I like that. So definitely spend time with them. Not too much more I can say here, but yeah, spending time with your friends will be really beneficial. Maybe they'll be able to give you the peace, you know, from out there. We need peace, you know, go with you know, hang out with friends that are peaceful to you or make you feel at peace. So yeah, not too much more I can say there. Romantic connection, we have Fool in the upside down, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. Well. We have the Fool in the shadow, and then we have the Trickster in the shadow in two very prominent placements here. Okay. So, gosh, I thought it was going to be so much for positive romantic stuff coming through for Valentine's Day. But so basically what I'm trying to say here is that you might be dealing with somebody that's extra sarcastic. So we're talking about romantic connection. So your partner might be extra sarcastic this week. You might find that they're joking around when you're trying to be serious and try to talk about something serious. You might find that they're like slyly putting you down, using humor. We've gotten that we didn't get it this. We're not done with the reading yet, but we didn't get it this time. But we have been getting a lot of the bully card, especially I think it came up in the yearly as well. So there's a lot of like possible, like this could be a possible bully situation. You know, romantic connections are kind of like teasing you, or you know, maybe bully is a little strong, but maybe like teasing you, or you know, not taking your emotional stuff seriously. I don't love this card. I don't love it here. I'm not gonna lie, guys. And I didn't love the Trickster up there. So, you know, humor is so important. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you've heard me say like humor heals. Unfortunately, it's not that kind of humor this week. So it's pretty much the opposite, where it's going to not unheal you, but it's going to cause like a little bit of distress basically in two big areas of life. So I would love it if somebody commented down below and let me know how this manifests for you and how it shows up for you, because I can't think of how it might for me. Especially since I don't have a romantic partner. For single people, this could possibly mean, you know, if you go on a date or if you try to meet like a significant other, they can't like be serious. All they do is joke around, and that might be like annoying to you. That's what I can think of there. So I don't love that, guys. You know, I'm always honest with you. Don't love it. Don't love it. All right, important. What's important? Breathe. Okay, it's important to breathe. Yes, it is. It's basically our life force, right? So it's important to take a breath. Take a minute, right? Take a break if you need it. Didn't we get that somewhere? Kind of with the peace card, you know. But it's important to take a breath, take a minute. This is my reminder to breathe, so I just did. Yeah, no, you know, it can also mean like don't rush, you know, it can also have like that underlying energy there, like don't rush through things, take your time, do not overpack the week, you know, it's under importance, so that feels like it's important information for us to know. Health and wellness, we have breakthrough. Oh God, what a great card to get here. Love it. So you're having some kind of breakthrough with health and wellness. The first thing that I think of is if you're on a mental health journey, you've had some kind of breakthrough, maybe about you're trying to heal some trauma from childhood. You have some kind of breakthrough, some kind of aha moment of some kind. Maybe, you know, the weight loss journey is something I always think of as well. That's with physical health. Maybe you finally stopped plateauing. Maybe you finally lost that weight, you know. You know, you've been at a certain weight for like a long time. You've lost a lot of weight, but you've been at a certain weight for a long time, plateauing. You finally broke through that. You know, something along those lines. I could think of ways how this would manifest for me. I'll keep them to myself. I don't want to bore you anymore, but I love it. I think this is a great placement for health and wellness. Who doesn't want to break through when it comes to something like that? Hello. Love it. Okay, overall outcome we have... Oh God, why can't I pull this card? It doesn't want to come out. Destroyer. Okay, releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. Ooh, you guys know I like newness. My Gemini self loves newness. Okay, so basically it's saying we're letting, you know, we're potentially setting up or destroying things to be set up for a new path in life. And that's the overall outcome. So I like that. So basically a good thing to kind of end with is to know that anything that kind of like leaves your life or kind of starts to trickle off or ends or seemingly looks like it's going to end, it's all part of the plan. You know, it's all part of the path. And I like that. So I will say this too, you know, it might be like the little things, you know, closing up the little things. Definitely feels like there's more energy that is more potent than that, but you know, it definitely ends that way. Maybe, you know, sometimes I see it as like the last card is like kind of going into the weekend. Again, not great. Not great with Valentine's Day on the Saturday, but it is what it is, guys. Maybe, you know, maybe you start to realize like your relationship is not what it is and you're kind of starting to think about ending it. I don't know. Maybe for some of you guys. But yeah, you guys know I like any kind of new energy. So to me, this feels like I'm not scared of this. Let's put it that way. And you guys shouldn't either be scared. So yeah, guys, I like this week. I think it's pretty good. Like I said, I don't love these trickster and fool type cards. Similar type energy. Don't love them in, you know, they're in two prominent placements here, so I don't love them there. Take it easy, small baby steps, you know, into something new going on up there. More new energy, actually, now that I think of it. Lean on your friends. Yeah, there's not too much more here I can say or sum up. Like I said, hopefully it resonates with you guys. Hopefully it's helpful. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.